In this video, let's talk about the development of the thyroid gland and the developmental abnormalities associated with it. So let's start by drawing a picture of an embryo. These are the pharyngeal thickening or the pharyngeal arches. And here we have the cardiac bulge. Let's have a look at these pharyngeal thickenings or pharyngeal arches from the inside. So these are the first, second, the third, the fourth, and let's draw the rest. So between the first and the second pharyngeal arch, there arises a diverticulum, and this diverticulum, it grows downward, and there is this multiplication of the cells which form the thyroid gland. So this downward growing diverticulum is called as the thyroglossal duct. Just above the thyroglossal duct is an area of tubercular impar. Tubercular impar is a structure that gives rise to tongue. So we can very well imagine that the part from where the thyroid gland arises is just behind the tongue. We'll see that in our adult diagram. So this is how the thyroid gland forms. But there's one more thing, the fourth pharyngeal arch. The fourth pharyngeal arch gives rise to the ultimobranchial body, and this ultimobranchial body is responsible for the formation of C cells of the thyroid gland. So it contributes to the thyroid gland by forming C cells. So this is how the thyroid gland forms. Now let's have a look at the adult oral cavity. So this is the lip here, and here we have the teeth and the mandible, the jawbone, and this is the hyoid bone. The jawbone is attached to the hyoid bone by a muscle, the mylohyoid muscle, and here we see the tongue. So this is the tongue. Now let's roughly draw the thyroid cartilage here, and this is the cricoid cartilage. Now this is a zone where we have the adult thyroid gland, and this is the central part of the adult thyroid gland, that is the isthmus that connects the two lobes of the thyroid gland. So these are the lobes of the thyroid gland, and this projection in the center, it is the pyramidal lobe. Now this pyramidal lobe or this central lobe is not seen in all, but it is seen in lots of individuals. Pyramidal. Now this is the posterior part of the tongue from where the thyroid gland came down, and let's draw in some other color so that it's easy to identify. So here the thyroid glands comes down, and this is the path through which the thyroid gland traversed. And here the origin of the thyroid gland development appears as foramen cecum. Foramen cecum is a normal remain of the thyroglossal ducts, and similarly even the pyramidal lobe, it is the normal remain of the thyroglossal duct path. Now other than that, there is a possibility that the thyroid gland, it fails, some of the tissues of the thyroid gland is left behind and it fails to migrate to its original position. In that case, we can have this ectopic thyroid tissue, and we have very common zones is ectopic lingual thyroid and ectopic cervical thyroid. These are the very common zone, ectopic cervical thyroid tissue. Other than that, in the same zone, we can see the developmental cyst formation because of the cyst formation in the thyroglossal duct tissue. So the thyroglossal duct tissue can persist and may result in the formation of lingual thyroglossal cyst, lingual thyroglossal duct cyst, or even the thyroglossal duct cyst in the cervical region. So that's cervical thyroglossal duct cyst. So these are the common developmental abnormalities associated with the development of the thyroid gland. So that was grossly about the development of the thyroid gland. In our future videos, we'll talk about the anatomy and its physiology and the other abnormalities associated with the